Before instruments existed, humans already made music, but nobody knows exactly when it began. Maybe it started with the human voice, a simple sound. Then, another sound answered it. Humans naturally copied sounds around them. Birds sang, animals called to each other, and humans began experimenting with rhythm. Slowly, something extraordinary was born. But rhythm was everywhere. Footsteps had a beat. Hands could clap. Stones could be struck together. Wood could make surprisingly deep sounds. Even the human body became an instrument. A repeated sound was easy to remember and easy for others to copy. Soon, people could make sounds together, and that may have been the beginning of group music. But music wasn't only about making noise. It could also bring people together. Imagine a group sitting around a fire. One person starts a rhythm, another person joins in. Soon, everyone follows the same beat. Nobody needs written instructions. The rhythm teaches them what to do, and suddenly, strangers could move together. Music had become a social tool. But then, humans discovered something fascinating. Music could carry emotions. A slow rhythm could feel peaceful. A fast rhythm could create excitement. A deep sound could feel powerful. A soft voice could feel comforting. Humans began connecting sounds with feelings, and music became more than entertainment. It could express what words couldn't. This changed music forever. But humans wanted to make music louder, so they began experimenting with objects. Hollow wood created deeper sounds. Animal skins could vibrate like drums. Stones produced different tones. Bones could create surprisingly clear sounds. Nature was becoming their instrument shop. Every material had its own voice. Humans only had to discover it, and the first instruments were born. But instruments could do something the voice couldn't. They could create completely new sounds. A drum could mark a steady beat. A flute could stretch a note. Stones could create sharp rhythms. Different sounds could be combined, and suddenly, music became more complex. People could create patterns. Patterns could become songs, and songs could become traditions. But why did humans keep making music? One reason may have been communication. A rhythm could signal danger. A sound could call someone back. A song could announce a gathering. Music could also help people work together. Imagine many people moving to one beat. The rhythm could make their movements easier. Music was becoming useful, and usefulness helped it survive. But music had another powerful purpose. It could help humans remember. Before writing existed, memory was everything. Songs could preserve important information. A melody could make words easier to remember. Rhythm could organize long stories. Ancient knowledge could travel through generations. No books were needed. The song itself became the memory, and music became a living library. But music could do even more. It could create identity. Different groups could develop different sounds, different rhythms, different songs. A familiar melody could tell people we are one group. Music could mark celebrations. It could accompany important ceremonies. And slowly, music became part of human culture. Not just something humans made, but something that helped define them. Then, something even more interesting happened. Humans began changing their instruments. They made holes in bones. They stretched skins tighter. They shaped wood carefully. They discovered that small changes changed the sound. A longer tube could make a deeper note. A shorter one could make a higher note. Humans were beginning to understand acoustics. Music was becoming an experiment. And then, humans discovered something incredible. They could tune instruments. Changing one small part changed the pitch. Musicians could now choose specific sounds. High notes could answer low notes. Different sounds could create patterns. Patterns could create melodies. Melodies could create powerful emotions. Music was becoming more intentional. Humans weren't just making sounds anymore. They were composing, and composition changed everything. Humans could repeat a favorite melody. They could change it. They could add a new rhythm. They could create musical surprises. Music became a form of creativity, and creativity encouraged more experimentation. Every generation could add something new, and music kept evolving. But music didn't evolve alone. Human societies were changing too. People began living in larger communities. More people meant more musical ideas. Different communities developed different styles. Some sounds became connected to special events. Others became part of everyday life. Music was now everywhere humans gathered, and every culture shaped it differently. That is how musical diversity began. Then, humans began traveling farther, and they carried their music with them. Songs traveled across mountains. Rhythms crossed rivers. Different musical ideas began meeting. Some sounds were adopted. Others were completely transformed. Music could now evolve through contact. One culture could influence another, and human music became even richer. But music wasn't only for groups. It could connect two people. A mother could sing to her child. A voice could calm a frightened baby. People discovered that music could change emotions. Slow sounds could create calm. Fast rhythms could create excitement. Deep beats could create tension. Music was becoming emotional language, and humans had only begun to discover its power. Then, humans discovered another powerful use. Music could bring people together. People could sing at the same time. They could move to the same rhythm. Their brains began synchronizing. Their movements became coordinated. Their voices became one sound. Music created a feeling of belonging, and belonging made communities stronger. Music wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was becoming social glue, but humans wanted even more from music. They wanted to tell stories. They wanted to express love. They wanted to express sadness. They wanted to celebrate victories. They wanted to remember their ancestors. Every emotion could find a sound, and every story could find a melody. Music was becoming part of the human experience. But music still had one more secret. It could make strangers cooperate. A shared rhythm created trust. People could move as one. They could work as one. They could celebrate as one. Music crossed language barriers. You didn't always need words. You could simply feel the rhythm. And that may be one reason music survived for thousands of years.